I want to bring in our guest tonight, who is just outside of Odessa, retired Air Force Special Operations Commander Major Glenn Ignazio. He is helping to rescue people with the help of E3 Foundation. Sir, so good to talk to you. First of all, just describe what you've seen since you've been there.
It's actually pretty fluid throughout the country. It was up in Kyiv where it's fairly calm. But down into Mykolaiv, it's very tense. You can actually feel the tension as you get into to much more of the hostile areas, and the Russians are still, really bed down and dug in. But Mykolaiv is definitely in need. Odessa is on edge because of, again, the attacks that have been going on. But the worst thing is I was north of Kyiv in Bucha, which is absolutely devastating. The other thing is recently, just before we went on, I got a note out of Kharkiv where they're starting to open things up, and they're really in need for psychological, mental health assistance. People are coming out with absolute, I would say, battlefield coma, where they're just not able to talk. They're completely out of it. And there's been a lot of sexual assaults. And like I said, the war crimes will definitely be shown, I'm sure, after what I've seen in Bucha and what we're seeing out of Kharkiv.
What can you share, Major, about the supplies reaching people who need them? We've been hearing so much about things getting pushed into the country to help the Ukrainian forces and the civilians there to defend themselves, things like bulletproof vests. Now that you're on the ground there, have you been able to see some of the challenges with the supplies?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of the major weapon systems, I mean, they're very big and much, very visible, excuse me. The hard part is when we come into the bulletproof vests and the helmets. I mean, when we see the numbers that we're pushing in from the United States and from NATO, greatly needed. And the hard part is they've been delivered to Ukraine. But when we've been out in the field, we are being asked every day, all night, can you get us bulletproof vests? Can you get us helmets? For whatever reason, it's not getting out to the far east and to many of the troops' checkpoints and other areas. So, those are the smaller things that are maybe they're harder to manage from warehousing or so forth. I don't know. I'm not going to look through the crystal ball here, but that is the number one thing. And so hopefully it's getting to the end user and not finding itself in somebody else's warehouse.
Obviously, the hope right now and the goal is to try to prevent what we saw in Mariupol to happen in Odessa, particularly the humanitarian crisis. As you try to get these people out, what are the challenges you face and where do they go?
Sure. I mean, that's one of the things that we've been working on to not have another Mariupol. Gentleman I got to call out, his name is Thomas Venable. He's a prior Green Beret in the Special Warfare Air Force, retired. He came over here himself and really put this together. That's his specialty, and really was able to develop with militia, local, and police and law enforcement. And I was fortunate for him to call me in to help. And he's able to get 5,000 to 8,000 people plus a day out of Odessa, which is actually a large amount. And the whole idea is to get them to safe areas, various areas north and northwest and everything to get them out of the country. So the idea of setting up initial staging points and others to either take care of people that are hurt or people that are completely ambulatory out as quickly as possible. So it was monumental to see an individual American veteran do that on himself. We did this out of our own pockets. And now we have a model that we can duplicate and being used in other parts of the country before things get bad. So it's been a monumental effort and actually extremely rewarding.
Well, we're certainly glad that you're sharing with us what you're experiencing over there, and for people here at home to hear that we're a long way from through this. Major Glenn Ignazio, appreciate you being with us. And if you would like to help at home, the E3 Foundation to get people out of Odessa safely, you can donate at e3givesback.org. Major, stay safe. We'll be checking back in with you.
Thanks. Take care of yourself. Appreciate the time.